Hey everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new playthrough. Now, as I get ready to start this, it is September 13th, 2021, and I was just in the middle of doing a huge Marvel United play series where I was doing the streets of New York, and I was having a lot of fun with it. I paused because I'm running out of painted miniatures. I have to continue to paint them. So I put it on hold, and I went back and said, what should be on the table next? Should I do something new? Should we go back to something that's cool and that we've done in the past that people really enjoy seeing because it's hard to get? And I remembered Dave, who's doing the Shadows of Brimstone series, said to me, what about Fortune and Glory? And I was like, yeah, you know, I haven't seen that one in a while. And thanks to Dave, David, I'm putting this out on the table. We're going to play it. Now, David has promised me, and via that, I'm going to promise all of you that he does have more Shadows of Brimstone videos coming out, and I'm excited about that. And there are plenty of other playthroughs out here if you want to see one from One Stop Co-op Shop and a bunch of other people. They're out there. I've done them before, and in this one, and also like Paul Darcy, I think, did one a long time. There's a bunch of people who've done them. Anyway, it's a great game, and we're going to get into it right now and play through a full game of Fortune and Glory. Now, this game was produced by Flying Frog Games. I don't remember the era or the time. I mean, well, the era of the game is the 30s. It's World War II. But I mean, I remember when they published it. It's not a new game, and it's probably incredibly hard to find. So, if you enjoy this, you might have a hard time picking up a copy. Also, I have all of the various expansions, well, the ones that were published anyway. I think I might be missing a few of the card things or whatever that came directly from Flying Frog. I frankly don't remember, but I do know I have the boxed ones, which is the Order of the Crimson Hand and the Treasure Hunters and a few other things, and those are all going to be part of this. And in fact, we are set up to play from a couple of those things, and we're going to be taking on the villain, the Order of the Crimson Hand. That is the organization we're going to be battling in this playthrough. I also have a couple of characters. I drew characters at random, and ended up with two of them from the Treasure Hunter series. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to go through everything in the setup. I'm just going to talk about a few things to get us started that will matter. Frankly, that's going to be our characters. That we'll talk a bit about the villainous organization, and we'll talk about where our basic relics are. Now, the gameplay is, I'm going to be playing a fully cooperative game, so I'm not going to play anything, the competitive version or even the solo version where you're just playing one person, because you can do that, and they got rules for all of that. But the cooperative version always was and is my favorite way to play this game. Like many of the Flying Frog games, I just like the cooperative version of them better, and that's what this one's for. This is a really fun game. Again, it kind of takes on the role of the Indiana Jones style adventurers in the 1930s, trying to collect artifacts and take them to a safe place before the villains do so for some nefarious reason. Now, you can play in the base game, you can play against the Nazis, you can play against the mob, but there's the Order of the Crimson Hand, which is a staple in some of the old Flying Frog games, was published as a box set, and a small box that you could add to your game, and that's what we're going to be doing here. So I think first off, we'll cover off on the Crimson Hand as a villain, and again, I'm going to go over the gameplay as we play. You'll also notice that there are all these tokens. I'm not going to look at the other side because there's something on the other side. On the dock spaces, these are alternative dock encounters that we can have that just add more variety to the game. And when you're in a city, you can simply choose to encounter them, but they're good and bad, so things can happen. Anyway, there's a couple things. Let's go to the villain board. We're going to talk about that. All right, this is just a paper printout from something on BGG that is invaluable, and I can't really remember. I've had it forever, and I don't remember who created it, but I always use it when I'm playing this game because this isn't actually should be in the game. If like Flying Frog, if you ever watch this and you do a 10th anniversary edition of Fortune and Glory, which I wish you would, this should be just a thing in it because it's too important not to have. It allows you to track, especially this piece here, that helps you track the villains from the nefarious organization that we'll be playing against. All right, so what do we have here? Well, each organization acts differently, but one thing that's in common with them is depending on the number of players, you're going to have so many villains come out. And we're going to be playing a 3-player cooperative game, which means we're going to have 2 villains. If you had 4, you'd still only have 2 villains. And if you have 5, then you have 3, but there's always a chance that another one can come out. And I picked the 2 villains. I randomly picked 2 of the 3 villains from the Crimson Hand. There is a third one. I'll just touch on that one first. That is Sir Benjamin Crowley. That person will not be in the game with us today unless something happens to bring him out, which is possible. This is a sandboxy type game, so lots of different things can happen. But we're going to start off facing against Angela Hamilton, and you'll see how these scores play out. They're basically dice values. So 4 dice in combat, 4 dice in search. And she has an ability that's vindictive. It says heroes in her space treat all tests as deadly. Deadly means you don't get to do all the rerolls. You have to roll it in one shot. She has a defense of 1 and a 4. That only comes into play if they're in your space, not necessarily. Like when she's at a relic, this is pretty bad actually. Like we're trying to get one of the relics from her or in a space that she's in. That can get rough. And she immediately started the game on the board actually with the highest value relic. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then coming in behind her, he's currently delayed. He will go into a ready state next turn. I think he's ready actually with this turn, but he goes onto the board. Next turn is the Inquisitor. And he's basically a 5 and a 3, 5 search. So that means he's pretty nasty. He's got a lot of hits, but no defense. He's a fanatic. He gains +1 combat for each wound he's taken. So the more you wound him, the more crazy he gets. Now, for every 3 fortune we have in this space, they're going to cash that into the vault, which means they're going to go up on their villain track. Now, being that we're playing a 3-player game, it is recommended that we go to 16, and that is where the game ends for us. Sometimes people like to play at 15. I'm going to leave it at 16 because the Crimson Hand is rather challenging. And for us to win, we have to get 30 fortune. So because we have 3 players, it's 10 per player, and that's what we're going to have to deal with. Now, again, there is a chance that another villain can come in, and we also have the regular Order of the Crimson Hand. They are pretty tough, too. They gain +1 fight dice for each wound they have, similar to their boss. And this is their escape attempt, and that's what they look like in the card. And then we have these 2 cards, which dictate the Order of the Crimson Hand and what they do. This is their Vile Organization card, and you can see it here. And it's on a nice big piece of hard stock there. They have these special rules, which means as they uncover relics with these symbols and bring them into their vault here, they will gain the powers from these symbols, and that's bad. But there's also some other things where their outpost is, the Crimson Hand Acolytes and what they do, and this Keep Your Friends Close. We are going to follow this stuff as we play. And there already is a Dark Sanctuary out on the board. It is in Shanghai, and we'll talk about that in a minute when I show the rest of the board is set up and ready to go. I'll show that in a minute. And in Crimson Hand, there's 8 of their basically Crimson Hand Acolytes, which will end up going out and messing with our relics. They actually help gather the relics with the villains, but at a slower pace than the villains. This is by far one of the hardest groups to tackle. They're pretty rough. And then, of course, if we do encounter, do have anything where we have to roll for a tactic of the villain, then we're going to roll on this chart. And there's some other stuff up here about that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But that is basically the villain, and they are quite nasty. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So next up, let's go to the relics that we have in play and where they're located. Here are our four relics. And one of the things I love about this game, if you've never seen it before, is you combine, I'll just take this one, you combine an artifact with an adventure. And this is how you make up the adventures, and they're super cool. And you see these symbols here. These were also the symbols that were on the Crimson Hand card that will affect them. Some of them were. I don't think this one exists on there, but these two do. And basically, this is what makes up a relic that we're trying to accomplish. And this C is the location where it's at. And I believe that one is in Eastern Europe. It is. And what we're looking for here is the Dagger of the Golden Sun. And every time you create, you do these, you create new items. This also has a special. It says, during the adventure, you are -1 cunning. So when you're trying to tackle the adventure of collecting the Dagger of the Golden Sun, you have 1 less cunning if you have to make a cunning check. That could be bad. We'll talk about that later. But the important things on here is the value of the relic is 4. That's 4 fortune. Fortune is what wins the game and makes us lose the game if the villains collect too much of it. And this is how many dangers we have to face. And basically this is a cliffhanger game. So we're going to face danger after danger and push our luck each time we try to face one of these. And the moment we fail, if we fail one, we go into a cliffhanger scenario, which is pretty bad. So to start off with, in Eastern Europe, we have the Dagger of the Golden Sun. Where's the other one? In Siberia, we have the Amulet of the Golden Mummy. It's a 4 and a 3. There's someone trying to call me. I should cancel that out there. Hold on just a second. Where's B? Way down in the South Latin America, that's called the Devil's Reach area. We'll see that on the map. We have the Mask of Osiris, and it has a special ability. It says this artifact is worth +2 fortune. When discarded, shuffle the card back into the deck. So that means that's worth 7 fortune instead of 5. It's pretty cool. It is the Mask of Osiris. Now, why is that so much better? Well, look, we have to solve 6 dangers to accomplish that one. And then we have the Cup of the Sacred Stone. That one is in the British Isles. That makes sense. It's the Holy Grail or something, and it only requires 3 adventures, and it's worth 4. So we have some good relics out. We didn't draw any temples in the initial drawing of that, so that's going to be interesting. Temples are a cool feature of the game. We'll see those when they come out. Okay. Next up, we're going to talk about our characters and the 3 characters we have, and we will be using some special things from the game that you may not have seen before, or maybe you have. We'll see. So first up, we're going to be playing with one of the base game characters, Jake Zane. You can see he starts in San Francisco, and he's got a few abilities. Ace Pilot, he's going to add +4 adventure dice during a flying test. So if we have an adventure that says flying, he gets to add +4 dice to it. That's a lot, actually. It's quite a bit, but it's very specific. It has to be a flying test. He's got a plane, and he may spend glory instead of fortune to fly between cities. That's pretty cool. That is very valuable to us. He's also brash. He gains +1 cunning while at an adventure with another hero or villain, so he likes to team up sometimes. He is a male American pilot. He's got a combat of 4, an agility of 4, a cunning of 2, and a lore of 2, and these are the dice pool that they represent in each of these categories. He has a natural defense of 1 and wounds of 5. I am playing with the personal missions, which comes, I believe, in the Treasure Hunters pack. I've got them all in the same boxes, so I forget which comes from where. And he drew this special mission, See the World. Very apropos. Spend an adventure phase in each of the following cities, Rio de Janeiro and Sydney. And if he does that, he gets a reward of 3 fortune. That's part of our victory. That's pretty good. So that's our first character, Jake Zane. Our next character is Angel Espinoza. She's a grease monkey. She starts her turn in Mexico City, not far from Jake Zane, who's in San Francisco. She's got the ability of Workshop. She may buy gear cards for 2 less glory than normal. So gear cards typically cost 5 glory to buy. So for her, they're 3. That's pretty powerful. She's also an expert mechanic. She adds +2 adventure dice during tech or trap tests. So if there's a keyword of test or trap on one of her adventures, she gets a bonus, similar to Jake's Ace Pilot. She's a female, Mexican, and she's got a tech skill. Her combat's 4, her agility's 3, cunning 3, lore 2, defense 1, 5 wounds. And this is her special mission, Glory Hound. Her mission is to collect 18 glory without spending it. That's going to be really tough. I don't know if she'll make this one. The reward is 1 fortune and draw an ally card. So that's okay. She may or may not succeed at that. We'll see. And then last but not least, we have Grant Jackson. Now, Angel Espinosa and Grant Jackson are both from, I think it says where they're from in here, or maybe it doesn't. Yeah, the little symbol right there. They're from the Treasure Hunters expansion pack. Okay, so Grant Jackson, he's a male American in the military. He's a soldier of fortune now. He starts his turn in Cape Town, so he's in South Africa. His abilities are, he's a mercenary. He starts the game with a gear card. We have that. I'll talk about that in a moment. And he's also rough and tumble. He gets +1 adventure dice on any tests in a jungle or desert space. That's quite a few on the board, so that's really helpful. He did get a gear card, which I drew. He got a revolver, which gives him +2 combat. Check that out. So that gives him a 6 combat. That's really good. He's got a defensive 1 and 6 health. And this is his personal mission. He's a protege mission. Get a ally sidekick. You need to get a sidekick ally. And the reward is, once we do that, we gain glory +2 at the start of each turn. So he just starts gathering glory because he has a protege that's helping him get money. He's like got his own little short round or something like that. That's what he's got going on there. That is going to, that's all our characters. Those are the 3 characters we're going to have in the game. A lot's going to happen to them. It's going to be very interesting. And of course, here's our board. You can see the majority of it in the picture there. You can see where our the markers where our various relics are, the artifacts that we're going to be chasing down. You can see down here on the B spot, which is the Mask of Osiris, because that was the most valuable artifact. We have good old Angela Hamilton already down there preparing to cause trouble for us in getting to that artifact. Hopefully we don't have a lot of cunning missions there, because she hurts our cunning. No, she turns all the tests into deadly tests. That's really bad. That is so hard to overcome. Even though this is worth a lot and it gets +2 on the fortune, we may have to forego that already. We'll see. You can see down here we got Grant Jackson. He's down there in Cape Town. Way up over here we got Angel Espinosa and then Jake Zane up there. So everybody's on the western side of the world. We're going to have to get them moved around because 3 of our 4 relics are not in the western side of the world. And you can see them here. So we got the one here in the Devil's Reach, which is down with the villain, one of the villains. And then up here in the British Isles, we have the Cup of the Sacred Stone. Here we have, again, the Dagger of the Golden Sun. And then up in Siberia, we have the Amulet of the Golden Mummy. There's lots of golden things going on, too. And just to show it off, here is one of the temples that we do not have on the board yet. And here are the acolytes for the Crimson Hand. We'll see how those go. The miniatures are always very nice in the game. They're like what I would call high quality board game miniatures. They're not like collector miniatures or war game miniatures, but they're good quality. All right, and now we're going to go over quickly. We're just going to walk through the turns, and then we'll take our first turn, and we'll call that an episode. So, in the cooperative game round, we're going to start by rolling initiative. We're going to do that for every character we have, so we have 3. And we're going to get ready to activate them in that order. Okay, and it does impact the game quite a bit. You'd be surprised. And then after we do that, and again, we can ready all activated cards. There's all kinds of stuff we can do there. Then we're going to go in the move phase. We're going to roll a movement die. Now, there's 2 ways you can do movement. You can take 4. You still roll a die. You can get more than 4, but you're never going to get less than 4. But it's not as cool. I think we're going to go completely random and just roll a d6. On a 1, we get a cool event card, which is very useful to us, and so we'll be doing that. We're just going to roll a die. On a 1, we get that, and then hopefully we don't get screwed over by a lot of poor movement rolls. But that's the movement phase. We're going to move everybody during the movement phase, and then we're going to go on to the adventure phase, and that's the meat and bones. If we are in a place with a relic, we're going to have an adventure. If we're not, we're going to roll a die. We might get an event or something like that. And then after that takes place, we are going to go to the end phase, which has we're not going to worry about the Zeppelin moving because we're not playing that's the competitive game round. Anyway, same thing. It does the same thing exactly, but we have the villain phase. We're going to draw the villain event. We're going to do the outpost or Zeppelin step. And we're going to do the villain adventure step, which it's really important that you do them in the order that they show because it can affect the game as well. And then we're going to have the end phase where we replenish the artifacts. And that's basically it. That is the game. There's a lot. So I'm going to preface this. It's a fiddly game. I love this game. I love the Flying Frog games, but they do tend to be a little fiddly, which means you have to remember a lot, which means you can make mistakes. especially when you're only one person doing the game. So we are going to be careful of that, but I am going to make a few mistakes, and I'm just prefacing that up front. It's way too easy to do. All right, well, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our initiative phase. We're just going to use the board as our dice rolling platform. I hope that's okay. I was going to get a dice roll out, but I said, what the heck, I'm not going to do it. So we're going to start with Jake Zane. He's going to roll. He rolled a 3. So he's going to go on 3. We got Angel Espinoza. Oh, she's going first, I bet. And then last on the initiative track, Grant Jackson. He rolled a 2. So we'll go in that order. It will be Angel, Jake, and Grant. Okay, so that is it for the initiative phase. We are done. Unless something tells us to do something differently, but it won't. So now we move on to the first. Now I'm going to be much more detailed about these. Later on, we'll just make them happen. But I want to make sure you all know how to play the game, because it's a great game, and if you can't find a copy of it, I highly recommend it. By the way, components are super high quality. Just to show you, the cards are even in this really glossy stock. Some people don't like it because they're thick, and sometimes when it's warm they stick together a little bit, but they're super high quality, and I think if you spilled something on them, they'd survive. Okay, so now we're going to get a few more dice out. We're going to go and roll movement. So first off, we're going to roll for Angel, since she's going to go first, and she rolled a 4. Next up, we're going to roll for Jake, because he's going second. He rolled a 6 on movement. He's doing great. And then last but not least, we have Grant. He's going to roll as well. He rolls a 2. Okay, so next up, I think so. First off, we got Angel Espinoza. She rolled a 4. She can get around. Let's see where she's going to go. So here is Angel. She is in Mexico City, and I believe what she's going to do with that big whopping dice roll of 4. That's a good roll for movement. She's going to go 1, 2. Now, this is not deep jungle. So if this artifact was in the deep jungle, it would have a different effect on the game. Deep jungles are the ones with the jungle symbols with the red circles around them. You see one here and here, but not in the Andes. And this is mountains and not in the Yucatan. But you can see them over here as well. But she's got 4 movements, so she can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and make it all the way down to where the villain and the most valuable relic is. And I think she's just going to have to start off that way and make it happen. So we'll see how that goes. She's going to go 1, 2, actually she can get down there in 3, right? Yeah. Oh no, she has to come out of Mexico City, right? So 1, now that's one thing to make note of. When you're leaving a city, unless it's a port city where you can go directly into the water, you have to step out for 1, 2, 3. Oh, she can't make it with a 4. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe, well, we got to head her down there. Just do I want her to take that on or not? He might be able to get there faster. I could send her, start to work her way over to the British Isles. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to say she's going to go 1, 2, yep, she's going to go right here over to New Orleans, and that's where she's going to stop her movement. Now, I'm going to be heading her, I could move her, it costs 3 to move into here, so we can't get her over there. She's a port city, so she can jump right in there and across, but it's going to take too much movement for her to do that right now. That is Angel Espinoza's movement. So it looks like our villain's going to get away scot-free in this first round. I think I should move her down there. Unless he only rolled a 2, so the worst he could do, best he could do is get into the ocean. He might just move into he just might stay in Cape Town there. So I'm going to take that back, actually. I'm going to put her back in Mexico City. I know she won't quite get there, but we're going to start heading her there. I think that's valuable. She's going to go 1 to here. Let's see if you can see it all. Yes, you can. 2 to here, 3 to here, 4 to the Andes right there. And she's on her way down to the Devil's Reach. Okay. Now, Jake Zane, we do have him there. He's got a lot of movement. He's got 6, actually. It costs a lot to go across the Atlantic, though. So he's going to have to move. I could take this port right here. No, I think he'll move 1. He's out to there. 2, 3 into New York. 4, 5, 6, and he's on the water, heading over to the British Isles, where he will be making his way to that region of the world. That was Jake's movement. And then down here we have Grant Jackson. He's only got a movement of 2. I mean, where can he really go? He could get into here, but who cares? I think he's going to stay there and take a shot at just seeing what happens in the city for him. He does need to gain a sidekick ally, so there's a higher chance of that happening there than anywhere else. And that's it for our movement phase. Now we're going into our adventure phase. So first up, we have Angel Espinosa. She is here for the adventure phase. We're going to begin our adventure phase now. And she's here now. When you're in an adventure phase, unless you're told to do something different, you're simply going to roll a die. On a 1, you're going to roll a random fight. On a 4, 5, and 6, you're going to get an event card. So we rolled a 4. So I'm going to double check that. I haven't played this game in a long time, y'all, so I'm going to check rules occasionally just to make sure that I have got it right. And it is a 4, 5, or 6, yes. So she gets to draw an event. Well, there is a massive, massive stack of event cards that were all from the different boxes, everything. So I'm just going to shuffle them up a little bit just for the first time, and I might just always do a cut just to make it good for us. And she's going to draw the first one. So she gets local trouble. Play on any hero in a city during the adventure phase. That hero may not interact with the city anyway that turn, so that's if we're playing competitively, we can block each other. Or you can play while in a city during your adventure phase to gain 3 glory. And by the way, all cards, like there are other games, all cards in events that you get in a cooperative game are shared, so anybody can use them. But I tend to like to put them with the player that got them and like kind of play like you're really playing cooperatively, and that person says, yeah, you can use this one, and I got that card. All right, so that is the end of Angel's entire turn. Now we're going to go to Jake Zane, who is crossing the ocean in the North Atlantic. All right, let's see what he gets. A 1. Oh no! Jake Zane is going to have a villain encounter. He's going to have to take on an enemy. Let's see what that looks like now. That's right off the bat. Wow. So here is our enemy's deck. I'm going to give it a quick cut. And we're going to draw an enemy. Let's see what it gets. A deadly snakes. So on the cruise ship that he was on, or the cargo ship he was on, trying to get across to the British Isles, someone snuck a deadly snake into his area and is trying to kill him. It says animal snake poison. It's going to give him some glory. That's good, but he has to fight it. Now, we can also escape it with an agility of 6+. That's not his strong suit. Well, agility 4. He's pretty good. Or we can fight it. He's got a combat of 4. The snake has a combat of 4. So let's give it a round and see how fighting works for us. Now, hopefully, Jake Zane does not get killed in this process. Actually, it says deadly snake. Fight dice rolls of 6+ cause 2 hits each. Ah, man, you know what? We only need to get 3 hits on it, but I'm almost tempted to pass up on the glory and see if we can make an agility 6 roll to not deal with the snake and escape it. Just to give you the anatomy on that. See down at the bottom it says escape, agility 6, and that X means you need to make 1 success. So I can fight it, we can attempt to kill it, but it's got that poison of deadly snake ability of, if I roll a 6, it causes 2 hits. He's only got 5 total. He could get killed in 1 shot. I think it's best if we escape. So we're going to take 4 dice, which is his agility, and we're going to roll it and see how that goes for us. Let's get rid of this here. We did not get a 6, so we failed to escape it. That means we have to fight a fight round with it. And that is not good for us. So we're going to have to deal with this snake. Already off to an interesting start. And here's the problem with fighting against the enemy, or trying to escape an enemy like this. He gets to roll his fight dice anyway. Let's hope he misses. He did not. And, oh my gosh, look at that. He got 3 hits on our guy, Jake Zane already. I'm just going to start calling him Jake, because saying his last name is a little too hard for me to do in conjunction. So we're just going to go crazy with that. But I just want to look up something. I want to make sure if there's nothing we can do. I don't think there's anything I can do currently to affect this. But I like to double check things, especially this early in the game. Yeah, so from okay, we're in a fight. Let's see, fight rounds. So every fight round, 4, 5, or 6 does a hit, but in this case it does 2. So Jake has already taken 3 hits. Man, I didn't even think I'd need hit health markers at this point, but I do, so I'm getting some of them out now. We got 1. These are all 5s. 2. There's 2. And I'm putting those on Jake right now. We need a third one. He should have just fought the snake because he didn't even get the fight back. And then I think we're going to go again with I mean, this could be really tragic for us, couldn't it? Well, let me think. I may want to try and fight it and kill it now that we're already in a bad position. We only have 2 health left. Nope, I think it's worth escaping, and he does. Oh, thank gosh. Okay, wow. All right, so we escaped the enemy. That'll go back in the deck, and we did not succeed at beating it down, though, so that was bad. But we'll be okay. We're heading off to our adventures. That was his adventure. He fought off or escaped a deadly snake that was trying to kill him in the Stowe area where he was sleeping aboard a cargo ship on the way to the British Isles. Okay, last but not least, we have Grant. He is in Cape Town, and he can do a number of things while you can do a bunch of things in the city. And I think first off, well, I'm trying to just debate on what I want to do in the city space. We could first target this as a dock, so we could take that token right there. Do I want to do that? We can also buy things, but I don't have any glory. We can also draw, we're also going to draw a city encounter. We may do that. Let me think, and then we'll come right back to this city event. Okay, the one thing I wanted to check on was when can you pull a dock card? It is after you draw a city card. So we're going to draw our city card first, so we can choose whether or not we're going to encounter the docks. Let's see if we get something good there. Hopefully we do get something good, so I'm just giving it a quick shuffle. Always do that when I start, and then we'll draw a card. What do we get? Downtown car chase. So this is similar to an adventure that we'd be facing, but it's just a one-time thing. It says city, danger, chase, and driving. Well, we don't have anything that helps us with driving. We get 3 glory if we succeed. It says the print on these is incredibly small. It says lose them down a back alley or outrun them in traffic. Well, we have some choices here. We don't want to. We can choose to do a cunning 5 with 2 successes or an agility 6 with 1. I think neither of those are great options. Actually, I think we're going to have to do the cunning 2 one. So let's do that. So rolling in adventures works very interestingly in this game, where a lot of times you roll, as long as you keep succeeding, you can keep rolling in against that card. This card is going to give us 3 glory if we succeed, and again, we're using his agility. He needs 2 5s. Let's see if he can pull it off. There's 1, so he's got 1 5. He just needs 1 more, and we can roll again. So what we do when we succeed at something is, if I can find the tokens, I was ill prepared. Hold on. Okay, so what we do is we take a success token, we put it right there. It means we have 1 success against that adventure. Then we roll again. Oh, we got it big time, so he succeeded at passing us. So what happens? Well, he succeeded, so we're going to get 3 glory. I'll grab that in a second. If we had failed, we would have gone into a cliffhanger from this adventure, and we would have rolled over the car, and we would have had to deal with that on the subsequent turn. But we passed, so it gets discarded, and we get 3 glory. Let me find some singles here. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And here is our 3 glory that goes on Grant Jackson's board. And that is the end of the city encounter. I do think, let's give it a shot. I don't know, I don't remember what these do, so we're just going to turn it over and see what happens. Temple treasure. I got to read what that does now. It says there is a temple treasure. What does that mean exactly? We just get a temple treasure? I don't know. Let me look. Wow, that is pretty darn cool. Grant lucked out there. We intercepted a temple treasure coming off of a boat. We took it away from the mob. So that means we have got, what we do is we take one of these temples, we put it on our board. That is worth 3 fortune if we cash it in at a city, or 4 fortune if we cash it in at a major city, because we get +1 on the fortune dice. And that is actually going to mark the end of our player's adventure's turn. Now we're going on to we're going to deal with the Crimson Hand. This is going to be such great fun. I cannot wait, and I'm sure you can't as well. So let's get to it. So the first thing that happens in the villain phase is we're going to draw a villain event card. And let's see what happens here. So there we did that. Let's see what we get. Double cross. All allies must immediately make a loyalty for. We don't have any allies, so we're okay. For every ally discarded in this way, remove the villain track. Nothing happens there. The double cross was a no good, has no value thing that's going to happen. Okay, next up we are going to do the what the Dark Sanctuary tells us to do, right? And here it says, the Dark Sanctuaries are secret temples to the Order of the Crimson Hand, where ancient artifacts are gathered and dark rituals performed. So we have a Dark Sanctuary. Okay, now, what's interesting is you see here, we can attack a Dark Sanctuary and go in and raid it and bring it down. And it looks like there's some sticky stuff on there. Okay. As noted on the Vial Organization sheet, the Order of the Crimson Hand starts with one Dark Sanctuary in place. That is in Shanghai, in a random location. As a villain's bonus, during the outpost step, which is right now, of the villain phase, roll a d6 for each Dark Sanctuary on the board. We have one. On a 4, 5, or 6, we're going to place a Crimson Hand Acolyte figure on the adventure with the lowest fortune value and no other acolytes there. If all artifact adventurers already have an acolyte on them, place the new figure on the artifact with the lowest fortune value and the fewest acolytes. Okay, so we're going to roll a die right now and see if that actually happens. Hopefully we get lucky. Okay, because we still have to do the villain. A 2, we did get lucky. There is no acolyte coming out on the board this round. That is fantastic. And then we're going to do the villain's adventure step right now. So we are currently here at the Mask of Osiris. Angelica Hamilton is searching for the artifact there. Now again, nothing down here really matters for this. The only thing that matters right now is her search dice. She gets 4. For every 4, 5, or 6 she rolls, she gets to pass a danger on the card. This one, remember, the Mask of Osiris needs 6 successes. So we know she's not going to get it this turn. We could, because we can try and muscle through and take our chances, but she just rolls what she rolls. Now, for every 1 she rolls on a die, she's going to take a wound. If she takes enough wounds to KO her, she's got 1 defense, she will be knocked out. By the way, I think I already screwed up. I did on Jake. He did have, he took 1 less wound because he has a 1 defense. Okay, let's see what she rolled. So she rolled a 1 and only 1 success. That is fantastic. So we're going to take this wound and put it on her card there. We'll take this and put it right here with her at her, we'll just put them both here just so they're represented on the board. She has been wounded and also gained a success against the Mask of Osiris. Of course, that's not the end of it for us. We have the Inquisitor. He is ready and he's going to the next highest one that we have in play. The good news is that all of the rest of them are worth 4. So I think what we'll do, which one's the Dagger of the Golden Sun? That is, yeah, that's in Eastern Europe. I'm thinking we'll do that one because it has the next highest requirement of adventures. So that is where the Inquisitor is going to go, which is right here in Eastern Europe. So he is going there to try and find the Dagger of the Golden Sun. And now, if we had completed uncovering or taking a relic, either us or the villain, we would have collected the relic at that point in time, but we did not. So here's to the first turn of this new adventure, Fortune and Glory. Such a fantastic game. I hope you enjoy it. Please like, share, and subscribe, and share this out because I want people to see this game. This game is fun. And it has so much to it, and it is a sandboxy game. There's lots of dice rolling and randomness to it. If you're a Euro player and that's all you want to do, this probably won't be the game for you. But if you like adventures and stories and things and crazy things that happen to your characters and ups and downs, this is definitely the right kind of game for you. So I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy this playthrough. Like I said, I'm going to make some mistakes. I almost made one already with Jake by not giving him his defense when he got hit by the snake, but we solved that. And now we are on to the end of, well, the end phase, which would be to replace artifacts, but there are still 4 out on the board. And then next up, we're going to get to take our next set of turns. Now, what was good about Jake staying in South Africa, in Cape Town rather, is I think Cape Town is not a major city. We got to get to a major city before he sells the temple relic that he uncovered. And you might want to just sell it there to lock it down because there is a risk. If you're carrying around artifacts, there is a risk that they will be taken from you by the villains. But not this time around. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see how you react. Please share your thoughts on this game. Let me know what you're thinking. And if you have recommendations for what we should be doing, depending on how much movement we get with our heroes, please let me know. Also, this is one of those ones where I'm going to ask you, If you catch a mistake I made, please let me know as well. If I'm filming ahead, I may not be able to correct it, but I would like to know about it so I can if possible. Thanks. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.